A wise person once observed that the loudest force in a room is rarely the strongest one. Noise attracts attention, but quiet strength commands respect. In a world that rewards constant talking, instant reactions, and public displays of emotion, the idea of quiet strength can seem almost outdated. Yet if you look closely at the people you trust most, the ones who stay steady during chaos, you'll notice a pattern. They are not the loudest voices. They are the calm centers around which others gather. How often do you feel pulled into the noise of everyday life, reacting before you've had time to think? How many times have you said something in the heat of the moment and wished you could take it back? And how different would your relationships, your work, and your inner peace look if your responses came from a place of calm control rather than impulse? Stoic philosophers understood something that modern life often makes us forget: true power is internal. It lies in the disciplined mind that chooses its reactions instead of being ruled by them. This quiet strength is not weakness or passivity. It is an active, deliberate form of control, a steady presence that allows you to observe clearly, decide rationally, and act with purpose. In this video, we will explore how Stoic quiet strength can reshape the way you handle criticism, fear, decisions, relationships, and adversity. Each lesson builds on the last, forming a practical framework for living with calm authority in a noisy world. By the end, you will see that quiet strength is not about withdrawing from life. It is about engaging with it more intelligently and more deeply. Let's begin with the foundation, the inner discipline that makes quiet strength possible. Have you ever noticed how your biggest struggles rarely come from external events but from your reactions to them? Two people can face the same situation and walk away with completely different emotional outcomes. What creates that difference? The Stoics taught that our power lies in mastering our inner responses. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you have control over your mind, not outside events. This distinction is crucial. Modern psychology echoes this idea by showing that emotional regulation directly influences stress levels, decision quality, and long-term well-being. When you develop inner discipline, you create a stable base from which every action becomes more intentional. In daily life, this principle appears in small moments. A colleague questions your work. Your first impulse might be defensiveness. Quiet strength asks you to pause, examine the feedback, and separate useful information from emotional noise. That pause is not hesitation, it is disciplined control. It prevents unnecessary conflict and opens the door to improvement. What happens when you respond automatically instead of deliberately? How often does impulse lead to regret? Quiet strength grows when you consistently insert a moment of awareness between stimulus and response. A practical exercise is simple: choose one recurring trigger in your day, a stressful email or a difficult conversation. When it appears, take one slow breath before reacting. Measure success by whether your response feels calmer than usual. Over time, this habit builds measurable emotional resilience. This inner discipline sets the stage for how we interact with others, especially through the power of silence. When was the last time you truly listened without planning your reply? Many conversations are competitions for speaking time rather than opportunities for understanding. What would change if silence became your ally instead of your discomfort? Stoicism values silence as a tool for perception. By speaking less, you observe more. Research on effective communication shows that active listening improves trust and reduces misunderstandings. Silence creates mental space to interpret tone, intention, and emotional context. In real interactions, this might look like allowing a pause after someone finishes speaking. Instead of rushing to fill it, you use that moment to absorb what was said. The Stoic response is measured and relevant, not reactive. This approach often diffuses tension and encourages deeper dialogue. How often do misunderstandings arise because we interrupt or assume? What insights might you gain by allowing conversations to breathe? Practice intentional listening in one conversation each day. Focus entirely on the other person's words and body language. Afterward, summarize what you heard before adding your thoughts. Track how this changes the quality of your interactions. Silence strengthens relationships, but it also prepares you for moments when words carry sharp edges, such. H as criticism. How do you usually react when someone criticizes you? Even constructive feedback can feel like a personal attack. What if criticism became a tool for refinement instead of a threat? The Stoics viewed criticism as information. Epictetus taught that it is not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Modern performance research supports this view. People who treat feedback as data improve faster than those who treat it as judgment. Imagine receiving blunt feedback at work. A reactive response might involve defensiveness or withdrawal. Quiet strength encourages detachment. You examine the content objectively, extracting what is useful and discarding what is not. This preserves your dignity and promotes growth. What is lost when pride overrides learning? How much progress is delayed by resisting uncomfortable truths? After receiving criticism, write down the key points and label each as actionable or irrelevant. Choose one actionable item to improve within a week. Measure success by visible progress, not emotional comfort. Learning to process criticism calmly reduces fear, which brings us to the next challenge. When anxiety rises, does it feel like your thoughts accelerate beyond your control? Fear often originates in imagined futures rather than present realities. How much of your stress comes from events that never actually occur? Stoicism emphasizes focusing on what lies within your control. Studies on mindfulness show that present-focused attention reduces anxiety and improves cognitive clarity. By anchoring yourself in the current moment, you weaken fear's grip. In practice, this means identifying controllable elements in a stressful situation. Before a major decision, list what you can influence and what you cannot. Direct energy toward the former. This structured focus transforms vague fear into manageable action. What changes when you stop wrestling with uncontrollable outcomes? How does clarity alter your emotional state? Adopt a daily mindfulness checkpoint. Spend 2 minutes observing your breathing and surroundings. Rate your anxiety before and after. Consistent practice trains your nervous system to return to calm more quickly. With fear managed, decision-making becomes clearer. Do complex choices ever leave you mentally exhausted? Overthinking often arises from trying to predict every possible outcome. What would happen if your decisions focused on principles rather than perfection? Stoics rely on rational evaluation grounded in values. Decision science confirms that simplifying criteria improves accuracy and reduces cognitive overload. When your choices align with core principles, uncertainty becomes less paralyzing. In everyday life, consider a career opportunity. Instead of chasing status alone, evaluate how it aligns with your values and long-term direction. Quiet strength resists impulsive attraction to short-term rewards. How often do you regret decisions driven by pressure rather than reflection? What would consistent value-based choices look like? Create a personal decision checklist with 3 guiding principles. Before major choices, review them and rate alignment. Success is measured by consistency, not immediate results. Clear decisions support balanced living. Does your schedule feel crowded yet unfulfilling? Balance is not equal distribution of time but intentional allocation of energy. What activities truly deserve your attention? Stoicism encourages prioritizing actions that cultivate virtue and well-being. Productivity research shows that focused engagement with meaningful tasks increases satisfaction and reduces burnout. In practice, this involves auditing your commitments. Remove activities that drain energy without purpose. Quiet strength allows you to say no without guilt, preserving resources for what matters. What shifts when you protect your time deliberately? How does focus influence your sense of control? List your weekly activities and categorize them as essential, meaningful, or optional. Reduce one optional task and reinvest that time in a meaningful one. Measure balance by increased satisfaction, not busyness. Balanced living strengthens resilience. How do you respond when life disrupts your plans? Adversity tests the stability of your inner foundation. Can hardship become a training ground for strength? Stoics accept impermanence as a natural condition. Psychological resilience research shows that reframing challenges as learning opportunities accelerates recovery. Acceptance does not erase pain but prevents unnecessary resistance. Consider a personal setback. Quiet strength acknowledges emotion without surrendering to it. You focus on constructive responses, honoring loss while continuing forward. What lessons hide within your past difficulties? How have they shaped your character? Write a reflection on a past hardship and identify one skill or insight gained. D. Apply that lesson to a current challenge. Success is measured by adaptive response. Resilience prepares you for leadership. What qualities define a leader you respect? Often it is composure under pressure and fairness in judgment. How does your behavior influence those around you? Stoic leadership begins with self-governance. Emotional intelligence studies confirm that leaders who regulate emotions inspire greater trust. Quiet strength models stability and ethical consistency. In group settings, this appears as measured communication and impartial decisions. You respond to conflict with clarity rather than escalation. How might your composure affect your environment? What example are you setting daily? Choose one leadership behavior to practice calm listening during disagreement. Evaluate success by the tone of the interaction and the resolution achieved. All these lessons converge in a pivotal realization. At this point, a pattern emerges. Inner discipline supports silence. Silence refines communication. Clear communication softens criticism. Managed fear sharpens decisions. Sound decisions create balance. Balance fosters resilience. Resilience shapes character. Character defines leadership. Each layer reinforces the next, forming an architecture of quiet strength. Imagine facing a moment that once overwhelmed you. Instead of reacting impulsively, you pause. You listen. You evaluate. You act with intention. The situation changes not because the world softened, but because your internal structure strengthened. This transformation is gradual yet profound. It replaces chaos with clarity and tension with steadiness. As one original reflection captures it. Quiet strength is the art of choosing your inner climate, regardless of the weather outside. Why does this matter? Because your inner climate influences every interaction, decision, and perception. When it stabilizes, your life gains coherence. Challenges remain, but your response becomes consistent and deliberate. You begin to notice subtle shifts. Conversations feel deeper. Decisions feel cleaner. Anxiety loses urgency. Others sense your steadiness and respond with trust. This is not withdrawal from life, it is fuller engagement guided by clarity. The architecture is now visible. What remains is to carry it forward consciously. Quiet strength is not a single technique but a continuous practice. It begins with inner discipline, grows through silence and reflection, and expresses itself in balanced action. Each lesson we explored forms part of a cohesive approach to living. You have seen how managing reactions improves relationships, how silence deepens understanding, how criticism refines character, and how fear becomes manageable through focus. Decision-making gains clarity, balance restores energy, resilience transforms adversity, and leadership emerges from integrity. What identity forms when these elements combine? You become someone who moves through uncertainty with calm authority. Your presence steadies situations rather than amplifying them. This identity is built through repeated small choices aligned with Stoic principles. As you leave this reflection, consider one final question: how will you apply quiet strength in your next challenging moment? The answer begins not in grand gestures but in subtle shifts of awareness. Carry this perspective into your daily interactions. Let pauses replace impulses. Let observation precede judgment. Over time, these habits weave themselves into your character. Quiet strength is always available. It waits in the space between reaction and response. Step into that space, and you will find a steadier version of yourself ready to act.